very powerful sound, and so he plugged them into the game's main theme. Voila! It didn't seem right somehow. Sure, brass was energetic, he thought, but this didn't seem to fit. But why? Well, Link's Awakening is, yes, a Zelda game, but it's not like the others, somehow. Owing to its secretive school project-type roots, this game is quirky, it's weird. The setting, story, characters, they're all completely different from what Zelda is typically like. And this brass version of the theme just didn't convey any of that. Nagamatsu described it as having an ordinary Zelda feeling. And so he went back to the drawing board, but this time he was determined to convey that quirkiness, the weirdness of Link's Awakening. And luckily for him, Nagamatsu actually had a lot of experience using weird or unordinary instruments. Like maybe he could use accordion and fiddle, similar to the title screen from Triforce Heroes, which he composed. Maybe something lighter, with recorders and a xylophone, similar to Nintendo Land, another soundtrack which he worked on. But after much humming and hawing, much tinkering and tweaking, he eventually settled on something which he thought was just right. It was the perfect mix of quirky but still Zelda, unique but not crazy. Let's take a listen, shall we?
Okay guys, let's do something.
Okay, yes, this is definitely a song. Now, I don't want to be overly rude. Nagamatsu is clearly an incredibly talented composer, but I'm not sure if this is really the song that shows that off. There's this screechy violin, I think fiddle, at the beginning, which is never a great start. But then, of course, how could we forget the terrifying, creepy, haunting children singing sound? By the way, that is definitely meant to be children singing. The name of the file from Nintendo of Japan's website is titled version child.mp3. So, yes, this is definitely meant to sound like a choir of children. However, I suspect that what we're actually listening to is Ryo Nagamatsu himself pitched up a couple of octaves. I know for a fact that he provided his own Yuga voice for A Link Between Worlds, so it seems likely that he reprised his role here. Anyway,
okay,
I'm not a big fan of this, and I don't think Nagamatsu was either. And so, after much distress, I'm sure, he returned to the drawing board one final time. He needed quirky, sure, but maybe children singing wasn't the best way to convey that. And so, for this final attempt, he made use of the orchestra's most charming, I would say, group of instruments, the woodwinds. He figured that these instruments fit the teensy-wincy aesthetic better than any other. And so, after a little more fiddling and fine-tuning, he eventually ended up with the title theme that we're now so used to hearing. Take it away, Nagamatsu. And that is the long and fraught story of how we went from this, to this, and finally to this. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. That's very kind of you. Follow me on Twitter @ThomasGdocs for updates on future videos. Just me as a person, I also exist. Plus you can subscribe. It's really rare to try and make it harder to find the plays. But this This actually made it super popular. Everyone wanted to catch the rare Pokemon Pikachu. So Pikachu's first design was that black and white pixel art that you see in those very first two Pokemon games. As for Pikachu's yellow colour, well, when Pokemon Red and Green were in development, Game Freak decided to make them compatible with something called the Super Game Boy, which blew up tiny little Game Boy games onto huge TV screens, and in some cases added colour to them as well. And so, Game Freak had to quickly pick colours for each Pokemon. It was illustrator Ken Sugimori who suggested yellow for Pikachu, for the simple reason that Pikachu was electric type, and yellow made him think of electricity. After the game's release, Ken Sugimori actually went through...
Okay, guys, now let's do some stuff. Okay, guys, now let's do some stuff.
Pikachu's original design was finally finalized. This is the Pikachu that fans affectionately refer to as Fat Pikachu. So, why did the design change? What's wrong with this Pikachu? Well, let me explain.
Schmutziges Geschirr.
So what? So Matt.
Summon Excellence 4 in 1. Die Pulver- und Gel-Kombination reinigt effizient. Sogar im Niedrigtemperatur-Eco-Programm für perfekte Sauberkeit. Schmutziges Geschirr? So what? So matt.
About 1 year later, it was decided that the Pokemon games and card games were going to be adapted into an anime series for TV, directed by a guy called Kunihiko Yuyama. And for the very first episode, Yuyama had a problem. Which starter Pokemon should the main character pick? If you picked any of the 3 starters from the game, it would alienate any viewers who didn't pick that starter. So, he decided to pick a completely different Pokemon, one which people were just starting to talk about more and more. Pikachu. Pikachu would be the main character's chosen Pokemon, and the companion on his journey. When that first episode aired, Pikachu's popularity soared, to the point where almost everyone recognizes Pikachu nowadays. However, having Pikachu appear so regularly presented a bit of a problem. Pikachu wasn't very easy to animate. He was short and squat and wide, and look at his tiny hands, they're just not that expressive. So for the anime, Game Freak made some changes to his design. They gave him bigger arms and a longer neck, generally more human looking. Ken Sugimori explained, since the animation had them doing a variety of movements, including human-like gestures, we changed the shape of Pikachu's body to make acting easier. While Pikachu was originally very short and stout, we gradually gave it a more defined neck and elongated its spine. Ugh, that sounds gruesome. So, as the Pokemon video game series continued on, Pikachu's design in the games took much more inspiration from the modified anime design, rather than Ken Sugimori's old illustration. In Sugimori's own words, the Pikachu appearing in the Pokemon series after the broadcast of the animated series was influenced by how it appeared in the show. I mean, just compare his design in Pokemon Red and Green with how he looks in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. But it's not like the Ruby and Sapphire design was the definitive one. Pikachu's design hugely varied between the anime, the video games, and even the card game too. Here's a huge chart that Japanese Twitter user and Pokemon expert...
Now let's do some stuff.
...showing all of the various Pikachu designs. And right in the middle, this one design here is very important. Because in 2004, after years of Pikachu having a somewhat inconsistent character design, Game Freak decided to set the design in stone and create a definitive Pikachu design to be used as a reference for everything that followed it. This is the so-called digital base model. And here's the thing, if you play any of the modern Pokemon games and look at Pikachu, he will look like this. Or Pikachu from the live-action film. Again, his design is based on this one from 2004. Every Pikachu design after 2004 was based on that one consistent base. And that's why Pikachu's design has finally stopped changing so much. Except for one game, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Okay, so normally Pikachu looks just about how you expect him to look. But this game has a Gigantamax mechanic supersize your Pokemon to an absolutely huge scale. And if you Gigantamax Pikachu, then this design might look familiar. Pikachu's Gigantamax form is actually based on the old original design of the character, the Fat Pikachu, if you like. That was such a cool reference that Game Freak put in the game. I love that they acknowledged the pretty huge change that Pikachu's design has gone through. For a few years in the very early days of the Pokemon series, if you looked at a picture of Pikachu, you really didn't know what he was going to look like. And, I don't know, I think there's something kind of cool about that. Hey, thanks for watching to the end. I hope you enjoyed this look back at Pikachu's design. You can follow me on Twitter at ThomasTDocs if you want, plus subscribe to the channel if you want to see my future videos as soon as they come out. I'll see you then. Bye. There are currently 898 species of Pokemon, but there's only one that just about everyone recognizes, Pikachu. But if you were playing Pokemon back in the 90s, you might have a very different image of how Pikachu looks. He's, big. Put the two side by side and you can see just how much this character's design has changed. So, what's the reason for that? Well, let's answer the question. Why doesn't Pikachu look like he used to? So, if we're talking about Pikachu's design, we need to go back to when Pikachu was first designed in the 1990s. This guy, Satoshi Tajiri, had long dreamed of making a game based on his childhood experiences of catching bugs. What if you could play a video game where you caught monsters instead? So the developers at Game Freak began bringing this idea to life, designing hundreds of different pocket monsters, Pokemon for short. Illustrator Ken Sugimori explained, "When you hear monster, you think tough looking. So we were making the game with the image of tough-looking monsters fighting each other. But we then had some people within the development team say, I want to see more cute monsters. They figured that if people were going to trade these Pokemon, then there needed to be a variety of different kinds of creatures. So they asked another designer at the company called Atsuko Nishida to design something more cute-looking. Nishida was one of the few women at the company, and she doesn't like to show her face in interviews, hence the big fluffy Pikachu plushie that she's holding here. So, Nishida was given only two requests. A creature should be an electric type, and it needed 2 evolutions. She immediately started prototyping using the PixArt editor. That's right, she didn't plan the Pokemon on paper, she drew the designs directly as pixel art. The data for her very first prototype has been lost, but she says that it looked like a Japanese sweet snack called a Daifuku. Here's what a real-life Daifuku looks like, except Nishida's design had ears on it too. She named the creature Pikachu on a complete whim. Pika is an onomatopoeia for sparkling or shining, which Nishida added because the creature was meant to be electric type. And Chu is the noise a mouse makes, except at the time, her weird Daifuku thing wasn't actually meant to be a mouse. So, why did she add Chu? I actually don't remember the reason, she said in an interview. So, Nishida showed this design to her boss, Koji Nishino. Nishino said, make it cuter. In fact, this cycle went on and on, with Nishino telling Nishida to make her designs cuter and cuter. Eventually, she added puffy cheeks inspired by a squirrel, where she imagined Pikachu's electricity would be stored. And the spiky, zigzaggy tail was added for the same reason, to make Pikachu look more electric. So, eventually Pikachu was approved to go in the game. It was actually a favourite of Koji Nishino, so he made it really rare to try and make it harder to find for players. But this actually made it super popular. Everyone wanted to catch the rare Pokemon Pikachu. So Pikachu's first design was that black and white pixel art that you see in those very very first of two Pokemon games. As for Pikachu's yellow color, well, when Pokemon Red and Green were in development, Game Freak decided to make them compatible with something called the Super Game Boy, which blew up tiny little Game Boy games onto huge TV screens, and in some cases added color to them as well. And so, Game Freak had to quickly pick colors for each Pokemon. It was illustrator Ken Sugimori who suggested yellow for Pikachu, for the simple reason that Pikachu was electric type and yellow
Hi there.
electricity. After the game's release, Ken Sugimori actually went through every single Pokemon from the game and created high-quality official artwork of them. And this is where Pikachu's original design was finally finalized. This is the Pikachu that fans affectionately refer to as Fat Pikachu. So, why did the design change? What's wrong with this Pikachu? Well, let me explain. About 1 year later, it was decided that the Pokemon games and card games were going to be adapted into an anime series for TV, directed by a guy called Kunihiko Yuyama. And for the very first episode, Yuyama had a problem. Which starter Pokemon should the main character pick? If he picked any of the 3 starters from the game, it would alienate any viewers who didn't pick that starter. So, he decided to pick a completely different Pokemon, one which people were just starting to talk about more and more. Pikachu. Pikachu would be the main character's chosen Pokemon, and the companion on his journey. When that first episode aired, Pikachu's popularity soared, to the point where almost everyone recognizes Pikachu nowadays. However, having Pikachu appear so regularly presented a bit of a problem. Pikachu wasn't very easy to animate. He was short and straight and wide and just not that expressive. So for the anime, Game Freak made some changes to his design. They gave him bigger arms and a longer neck, generally more human looking. Ken Sugimori explained, since the animation had them doing a variety of movements, including human-like gestures, we changed the shape of Pikachu's body to make acting easier. While Pikachu was originally very short and stout,
Nothing.
we actually gave it a more defined neck and elongated its spine. Ugh, that sounds gruesome. As the Pokemon video game series continued on, Pikachu's design in the games took much more inspiration from the modified anime design, rather than Ken Sugimori's old illustration. In Sugimori's own words, the Pikachu appearing in the Pokemon series after the broadcast of the animated series was influenced by how it appeared in the show. I mean, just compare his design in Pokemon Red and Green with how he looks in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. But it's not like the Ruby and Sapphire design was the definitive one. Pikachu's design hugely varied between the anime, the video games, and even the card game too. Here's a huge chart that Japanese Twitter user and Pokemon expert Takasa Oji-chan put together, showing all of the various Pikachu designs.
Now we can play some games.
One design here is very important, because in 2004, after years of Pikachu having a somewhat character design, Game Freak decided to set the design finally stopped changing so much, except for one game, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Okay, so not like but this game has
I couldn't play. I could not blame you.
Säurehaltige Lebensmittel können zu Zahnschmelzverlust führen. Das kann zu Schmelzempfindlichkeit führen und die Zähne.
I'm gonna play something not scary then.
There must be some level of monarchy above hers. A king and a queen peach of some kind.
Hey there, everyone. Me from Productions, are you still here?
I'm sure you noticed. The mention of the Mushroom King is completely gone. In other words, King Peach or King Toadstool.
Who the heck is Nature Cat? Wait. Wait. I think it's an ad.
At this point, I really need to thank Twitter user Super Mario Broth because at my request, he sent me scans of a really old, obscure video game guidebook. And this, as far as we are aware, is the very first ever depiction of King and Queen Toadstool. Basically, guidebooks from Japan, which came out in the 1980s, called Certain Victory Technique, which would, I assume, teach you the technique to achieve certain victory. And the first in this series was all about Super Mario Bros. Now, I call it a guidebook, but this guide actually takes the form of a comic book. Here's Mario. I kind of like his design here. And then here's the princess. Very different from how she looks nowadays. Much more mushroomy. Anyway, right near the end of the book, there's an illustration that shows the entire Toadstool family. Just take a look. So here it is. This is the first ever illustration of the ever mysterious King and Queen Peach. They're very much leaning into that toadstool aspect of the design. So that book was obviously released in Japan, but a few years later, a fairly similar guidebook was released in the US called How to Win Super Mario Bros. Hey, you might have even had this book when you were younger. Unfortunately, compared to the Japanese guide, this one is kind of boring. Everything's just explained in text.
Which number block should I make, guys?
illustrations. In fact, it's highly possible that some of these illustrations were done by the same person who did the Japanese guidebook. And right in the corner, there's this one little illustration which shows the king and the queen toadstool yet again. This time they're in colour. Just get an eye.
Say around.
Yellow.
I know. Yes, this is 45. Now I'll do her face. She's almost done. She has a star eye, so I must add that to her first. Here she is.
Half of it does. Throughout these books, the king is a really important character, appearing in the majority of the Mario comics. However, bizarrely, Queen Toadstool is not in the books. Not even a tiny cameo. She's just not here. However, there is just one mention of her existence. One day, Princess Peach just starts saying the word bummer all the time for some reason, and apparently she inherited it from her mother, who also said the word bummer a lot. Okay. But other than that, the Queen is never mentioned in any of these comics.
I'ma play Can Your Pet. Hello there, Me Phone Productions. Why do all the games I play bore me right now?
Little Red Riding Princess, which is unsurprisingly based somewhat loosely on Little Red.
Well, I'm gonna play this game instead.
Explain which side of the family she is on, but judging by the fact she has
Okay.
and is not completely stupid, then I'm willing to bet she's probably on the mother's side. There is also a character called Grandma in Super Mario RPG, but judging by just how different this Grandma looks to Princess Peach, I think it's unlikely they're blood related. But you never know, anything is possible in the Mushroom Kingdom. Hey, thank you for watching this video until the end. Again, thank you to Super Mario Bros for his help.
I've been stuck on this level for so long.
You can subscribe for more.
Not that long, but I just want to beat it.
That's everything. Okay, goodbye. Bye.
How do you do this?
Hi there.
I just feel like I tend to